So I'm going to go through and show you some tasks that I made using just stuff I have at the house. So the first one I have is a sorting task. Turns out I have a bunch of different decks of cards in my house. So here are some different ways I could do a sort with that. So I have these bowls. Could sort Uno cards, this type of card and that type of card, and here are my cards. So I'm giving my student an example of one, and then they would do the rest of the sort with the example. It's really important to give them an example of what you want from them, especially when they're first learning it. Once they have got it down, they might not need the example, they'll know what to do, but initially they will need examples. Here's another thing we could do with these cards. I put in baggies, if you have baggies, reds or black. So they're sorting color. You could sort with cards, you could do suits. If that was something, you could do numbers. So lots of different things you can do with a few decks of cards. Another sort over here, so this would be a color sort. So I have Star Wars, so the 4 different colors. Again, I would want to give my student an example. Here I have these little containers, and I'm putting it out for them with the examples and having them sort via color. Or you could do it on, here's my example on this plate. I don't need to put a color on there because I've drew the color red, orange, I guess, orange on there. And they could sort, they know that the orange would go on that plate. So these color sorts, really, these are nice because they're all the same shape, they're the same item, but you can do a color sort with anything. Just go around your house and find things that are red and that are yellow, and make sure it's clear that you're sorting them by color, and your student should be able to do a color sort. And you can also, like, maybe your student only needs 2 colors initially, so we're only going to do the 2 colors. Or maybe they can handle 4. So really talk to your case manager and your teachers about where your student is at with these kind of things, so that you are not giving them too hard, too difficult of tasks, because we really want these tasks to be independent. So if they're too difficult, they won't be independent, and then it sort of defeats the purpose of the whole independent working and trying to get our learners to work longer and be able to do more tasks independently for longer times. Another great and easy to have activity is sorting silverware from your silverware drawer. So just take the whole thing out, have your students sort your silverware, and then they can work on washing after they're done. All right, here's another sorting task. I'm just using bowls here, or you could just use plates, use whatever you have. And I had some envelopes, so I just put some colors on some envelopes, and I would be doing a sort with colors. You should probably do more than just 2 colors if you were doing this at home, but if you have a really early learner, 2 colors might be all you need. And you have, so I set up the examples, and then the kids are matching and sorting into the colors. Also, you could do this with names, shapes, numbers. Again, you could really do anything. You could do it with stickers if you have some stickers on hand. The whole point of this one is just that they are looking and matching. Another thing I grabbed out of my cabinets was these cups and some writing utensils. So for this one, I would be asking the student to do pencils, markers, crayon, and a pen. And they just go through and sort the different types of writing utensils. Also, you could use these writing utensils for what we call a put-in task. A put-in task is any like container. I have a couple old washed out containers, and we're literally just putting in. So this is really low tech. This is for like a beginning learner, just learning how to just put something in and complete a task. And the important part of a put-in task is that the learner would be learning how to, that every item has to go in to complete your put-in task. All right, these next type of sorts are more fine motor related sorts. So here we have, you know, it's Easter. Get out the Easter basket. You're just putting together Easter eggs. Simple, already in the container, Easter eggs. Here I just got a paper plate or some cardboard, and we're doing some fine motor of just putting on. So if you have really anything that you can put on, if you have some binder clips, if you have hair clips, stuff like that, and having your kids practice that fine motor skill of putting on. This fine motor is you could make a stringing task. So here's your string. Could use something like a pretzel or macaroni or Cheerios, or even something from the garage. I'm not really, ratchets are these called? Anyway, if you have nuts or bolts or things like that from your garage, you could do that on a stringing activity. Just make sure to know what your student level is. Is it too difficult to do like a small Cheerio like that? Maybe better off doing a larger thing like a pretzel with a larger hole. And you can ask your case manager or your teacher those kind of questions about where your student's at and what kind of things they think would be beneficial for them to practice and work on at home. Another great thing if you have access to them at home is if you have Duplos or Legos. These are really great. You can use in a variety of ways for vocational tasks. So you could set up, like here, we're going to set up a color sort. So I'm going to sort my blocks by color. You could also do a shape sort, squares and rectangles. You can even do with these kind of things, have your students replicate a pattern. So you know, make an example and then give them the pieces to recreate their example. And you can use this with smaller blocks. You can use with this kind of thing with different kinds of toys, blocks, toys, stuff like that can be great vocational tasks. My next task idea is going into categories. So here I just really went into my cabinets and got vegetables or fruit. And I got some bowls from the kitchen, and I would ask the student to do vegetable or fruit and sort vegetables and fruits. So that's a good functional skill, and using real life stuff that you already have in your pantry or fridge. Staying in line with the idea of categories, I found some of these old birthday bags, you know, that you hang on to after a party. And here we have a sort of a toy or a book. So you can set up your bags. And is it a toy or a book? Books in here, toys in here. So just, you know, use what you have. It does not have to be pretty. It just has to make sense and be functional for your student to understand the expectation. A couple more examples of sorts. This one I have 2 bins, and you would sort either cleaning supplies or utensils. And again, here we have some more stuff from the pantry. You can sort boxes, cans, and bags. And I also have some, you sort them into the different bags. You're also working on the skill of bagging your own groceries. Lastly, I have a few laundry tasks. So this is just, I took all the towels and washcloths out of my linen closet, and these would be in a basket, and I would ask my student to fold them. Over here you could have some, I took some of my son's shirts, and I have the hangers, and I would have my student hang up these shirts on the hangers. And I also went through his closet and took out things like socks, shirt, and shorts. And you could have them sort into the 3 types: socks, shoes, or shorts. Or with socks, take your socks apart and have them match socks. There are a ton of laundry things that are functional that we can have our kids do to practice these vocational skills. Thanks for watching. Those were some of my ideas. I'm sure you have other ideas at home. Talk to your case managers about where your student is at before you start doing this kind of stuff. We don't want to make things that are too hard or way too easy for your students. You want to have things that are meaningful for them, but that they can do independently. We don't need to worry about doing a bunch of different tasks. Don't go out and make 50 of these. Try to just make a few core that your kids can rotate through. Again, talk to your teacher about how many tasks they think that your student can handle in one sitting. Some kids can only do about 2 of these. Others could work for 45 minutes or more. It just depends on your learner. So talk to your teachers about what's appropriate and what would be meaningful for your students. So stay safe, and we'll see you later.